what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're talking about loyalty and the lack thereof and the trickle down effects that it has on individuals and families. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I mean, how was she through this whole process of sitting in, in prison, having you, and of course, you probably bring her son,
Yeah,
sometimes.
definitely. I definitely brought her son. Um, her mother would come because her mother lived down south, so she would fly up whenever she had time
Hmm.
and visit. You know what I'm saying? Her brothers definitely would visit when they, everybody got their own lives, so whenever they had time, they came up and visited and supported. But me, I was visiting her every day,
Dope,
and
dope.
also what was crazy was around the time when that happened with Rim was around the same time everything happened with my label. So
Right.
I was in a space where I really needed to rebuild, start all over and focus. But at that point, I was like, this is more important. I need to focus on my wife. And I just visited her every day. And she used to tell me like, yo, you can't do this. You got to focus on your career. And I was like, yo, I don't care about that. So everything just got worse for me at that time. Like my whole world came crashing down.
Wow. I haven't heard this part of the story before.
Oh yeah, man. I hit rock
Yeah.
bottom around that time, man. Like it was real bad. You know what I'm saying? But I knew that she needed me. So I really didn't care about nothing that was going on with me. I was in the free world. So I just made sure I focused on her because when she blew trial, like normally somebody blow trial, they'll say, all right, we're going to give you a certain amount of time and you got to come back, turn yourself in and do your time. But when her lawyer requested that, they was like, no, remand right now. So she just got snatched out of society instantly. They didn't give her a chance to pack her crib up, situate her son or anything. So I had to do all of that. I had to make sure everything was right and try to juggle everything at the same time. And at the same time, I had to make sure she was all right mentally because I knew behind that wall, that shit ain't no joke. So I'm like, yo, I got to make sure me and her are communicating constantly and I'm visiting as much as I can.
Okay, so I found this interview online and I thought it was very interesting to add another layer to the whole Remy and Papoose thing. I found it very interesting him going into detail about her being incarcerated. She was locked up for 6 years and how he held her down, which we all knew it, but just to hear him say it and to look at his face, you know, the lack of loyalty out here is ridiculous. For all of us who are, you know, not young adults, you see how the world has changed. You see how people move, how different people operate from how they did in the 80s, 90s, or if you older than that, 70s, 60s, whatever. People have changed. People have changed for the worse. People's morals and values are trash right now, and I'm going to take and give my input based on what we have. I'm not going to go into hypothetical, oh, maybe she didn't do it allegedly. Well, I do want to say allegedly, but I'm giving my commentary based off what we have on social media. And I found it very saddening to watch this interview, to see him talk about everything that happened when she was locked up. Now, I do want to say this. I couldn't find any video, a good enough receipt, but I did hear that while she was incarcerated, he, you know, he was getting him some from someone else, and there may have even been a child from that. I couldn't find a hard enough receipt for it, but I just want to add that in case some of you may have heard it too. I don't want to seem like I'm skipping over stuff or leaving stuff out. And and just to speak on that, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I just think you shouldn't make a baby if you with somebody and they locked up and you say you're gonna hold them down. I mean, obviously 6 years you need to have some type of sexual release. But making a baby, in my opinion, wasn't the right thing. But hey, I'm learning, people out here having unprotected sex like never before. But the way people move and operate, you can help somebody Monday and you can call them Wednesday for a favor and they ain't got time. People are so cutthroat. People are so self-absorbed and consumed with themselves and their pleasures and what pleases them that people don't care about loyalty. People don't care about coming in and just shitting all over someone who's been down for them and who's had their back. But let's keep it moving in this crazy story that we all hope and pray ain't real, right? Let's move on. Now, this is what I didn't have when I did my first video on these two, but I want to go ahead and bring this out. Her, well, I can't even call it a rebuttal, but basically, his wife Remy Ma, she was asked about the allegations that were being said against her from the whole battle rap situation. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch my first video on this. But this is like a part 2 to get more in depth with it. And after the battle rap, in which, if you missed it, all of her and her husband's alleged personal business was given out to the world. And this is her being questioned after the fact to say, hey, was this true? Are you cheating on your husband with your artist? What's going on here?
Now we got to address the elephant in the room. Like Geechee went crazy. You know, the whole, can we even talk about the whole Easy to Papoose now that he don't talk as much as they talked on the stage?
Oh, Geechee?
Yes.
His third was the blogs for the past 3-4 months.
The block, okay.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. But he was, I don't know if you, how comfortable or uncomfortable you were with him standing there just saying all of this to you.
Listen, it's battle rap. I knew when I got in here, like I done been to 1,000 battles, seen the battle turn, say something to bleed, say something to smack, like so I'm used to it. It's like, it's to be expected. It's not the first time somebody said my name in one of the rounds, but it's
Right.
battle rap. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Way to think.
But this is the first time you actually, somebody was actually rapping at you. That was a long time. I didn't know he was going to stand there that long either.
He loves me. She loves me.
I think we all do.
Okay, so you heard her response to this. She was responding to what the rap battle that you just saw, and to me, she gave very dismissive. Her body language, I'm not the best with that, but she was fidgety. She was moving around a lot, and she just didn't give off the best body language. But I know y'all are body language experts, so y'all let me know what her body language was given to you guys. But you know, again, I'm not obsessed with celebrities, but I think that there's always a lesson to be learned in life, even if that lesson is what not to do, right? And so, you know, the whole cheating and everybody, you know, the world is at a place where people's sexual inhibitions, they're not holding back. People are super sexual. They're very vocal about it. They get on the internet, they dress half naked. Everyone is looking to be as promiscuous as possible and hunch up on as many people as they can hunch on.
And you know this, man.
But can we speak about the hurt? Can we speak about the embarrassment that comes from this? Let's just say that this is true. I wonder how her husband feels about this. Could you imagine being in her husband's shoes and the whole world's talking about your wife messing with a flunky, an understudy? This is humiliating. Let's talk about the diseases. Let's talk about how you got epidemics of syphilis, I think in Houston or somewhere. Let's talk about how everybody out here having sex with as many people and as much as possible and just completely disregarding STDs. Let's talk about these kids. Both of them have kids outside of their union, and then they have one child together. Let's talk about how that affects the children. As mature adults, people so quick that I'm grown, I can do what I want, and we've gotten so selfish, we don't even think about the actions and the choices that we make, how it affects our children, how it affects parents. How I wonder how his parents feel. And all she had to say was, "Oh, it's been in the blogs for months." And and I'm gonna say this too, for anybody who feel like, well, she denied it. That clip you saw was her denying it, or maybe her and her husband had a private conversation about this. We don't know what was said behind closed doors, and I'll give you that. But as a woman, why wouldn't you publicly deny this? Why not? And I get, oh, they're a celebrity, they don't need to feed into everything that's said. But I just think from a husband and wife standpoint, I would want to crush this and say, absolutely not. I don't want my husband thinking anything, blah, blah, blah. You know, and it could have been reasons to why her husband wasn't there. Maybe they had something going on, some other business or family stuff, why he wasn't here. But I'm just saying, it's just a bad look. You know what I mean? How something just don't look good and you just let it fester when you could easily just say, absolutely not. I love my husband, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about how she did 6 years in prison. And this man said for 1 whole year straight, he visited her every single day. And then I found out they got married while she was in prison. So let's talk about how you can have somebody, or you can be that person that's so loyal and so down for somebody, and you kind of an afterthought to them. And I'm not saying that in their case, because we really don't know all the details, but it appears it's giving she didn't give a damn. She been out too long. She forgot about how he was coming up there visiting her. You heard him. Her mama came when she could. Her brothers came when they could. But he was there every day for a year. Mind you, she has a son. Who was taking care of him while she was incarcerated? You know what I'm saying? So for somebody to marry you while you're locked up, and not the you know what I'm saying, the man locked up and the woman, because I know a lot of women, you know, get desperate, lonely, and they'll do it. But for it speaks volumes. This is what I'm trying to say, people. The character of this man, I think this man has been so underrated for some time as far as his character towards his wife. He's been nothing but a good example, even to the point where some people say, you know, he's a beta or he's a simp. And I don't really subscribe to that terminology. I don't think as an adult someone else should try to tell me how I should operate with my significant other, right? You know, I just, unless it's obvious signs of abuse, I'm not going to let anyone tell me I'm doing too much for my man. And I will hope men wouldn't let other men tell them, oh, you doing too much for your woman. It's like, dude, get a life, you know? But anyway, one of my last points, other than how dismissive she seemed to be, is how the narrative, the narrative that how women cheat, how women don't care about men, don't care about men's feelings. This definitely is giving off some type of narcissistic behavior, because I would think she would be indebted to this man. And I don't care how many years she's been out. I would think that the way he held you down and everything, you had a house to come back to. You know, some people get locked up. They don't have a house to come home to. They don't have money and cars and stuff waiting on them. And the fact that he let his business suffer, he had his priorities together as far as putting her first, knowing how hard it was going to be for her, you know, being locked up. This speaks volumes of this man. And it also speaks volumes of the days and times that we're living in, with people who just don't give a damn. People who don't care about people whose hearts are cold. People who just don't care about the effects of their decisions on people they quote unquote love. And this is why we got men and women out here like they don't even want to be married. People just want to have reckless, unprotected sex and keep it moving. And these are just examples of why men will look at this and be like, see, I ain't never getting married.
Nope.
See, ain't no good women left out here no more. So, you know, I just wanted to bring this back up and bring a little more light to this man and his character, how this man held this woman down, how he was there for her. He loved her as much as he possibly could, given the circumstances, and to marry her while she was incarcerated to prove even more his loyalty to her, only to turn around and get stabbed in the back like that.
She belongs to the streets.
We don't rock with that over here.
Nope.
So y'all leave me a comment. I'm going to end here. We can go on and on all day about loyalty and the lack thereof. Y'all leave me a comment. Let me know what y'all think, if there's any new findings that have come to light on this. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me and rocking with me. Y'all, I've been sick for a few days now, but the show don't stop. Keep pushing out my videos. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe. You already know my next goal I'm trying to hit is 10K. And if Detroit is in the building, y'all already know what to do. Catch y'all on the next one. Stay loyal.